I came across this Reddit earlier today of this man who cheated on his wife, and the way that his wife handled it sent him into a downward spiral and tailspin, the likes of which he has not been able to get out of even to this day. So I need you to listen to the societal implications that go into what he thought would happen after he cheated. And so let's jump into it. I'm warning you right now, this is pretty long, so this may be a part 1, and then I'll have to come back with the part 2, because this man then comes back out with other posts giving more information that he thinks is going to make people on his side. So let's go. I, 35 male, cheated on my wife, 36 female. She left without telling me anything. How can I get her back? I know, I'm aware of my faults. I know I screwed up. She and I had something beautiful. She is still the love of my life. We were together for 10 years, 2 dating, 8 married, but I made a huge mistake and cheated on her. It was just once, just one damn time. Somehow she found out. I never knew how because I haven't been able to talk to her since. Then I guess she found something on my phone. I came home that afternoon as usual and everything felt weird. The house felt emptier. I quickly realized that her things were gone. I panicked. I started calling her over and over, but her phone didn't even ring. Suddenly, I saw some papers on the table. She was divorcing me. Under the divorce papers, there was a note that said, "This is what happens to cheaters." That was the last thing I got from her 2 years ago now. Of course, I called the contact information for her lawyer, who has been the only bridge between us. And it gets much worse. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tanya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist from TanyaTKO.com. I help you learn how to love yourselves and one another. On this channel, we typically use viral stories to look for the self-love lessons for us. So these stories are never about the people we're talking about, but we have to look for the lessons for ourselves. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm a life coach, and I do these videos so that we can see what we can do. And personally, the level of self-love, discipline, restraint, boundaries, accepting nothing less than she felt she deserved in this post, I feel is a masterclass. So let's continue. So the lawyer was the bridge between them, but he just told me that he was But he just told me that he was her legal representative and that she didn't want to see me. I fought, I got angry, but in the end, her lawyer just told me it would be better if I just got my own lawyer. I didn't want to. I absolutely refused to accept that 10 years of relationship would end just like this. Now, mind you, he cheated. And now listen. And just like this. I know I have failed, but I always wanted to fix it. I know that if she gave me the chance, I could make that sweet and special girl I met more than 10 years ago fall in love with me again. I know that I can make her forgive me. After all, many couples go through similar things and get over it. Why can't we be one more couple in that statistic? Why, after 8 years of marriage, am I thrown away like garbage for a mistake? I don't deserve so much indifference. But is he talking about the indifference that he showed when he decided to let another person into their marital bed? Maybe not literally, but he decided to go out and cheat. And I want you to pay attention to how he talks about how many other couples. So he was looking out there, probably at these women on the internet talking about how Jesus fixed their marriage, and all of these long-suffering women going through it over and over and over again for a man who continues to cheat. Cheating is not an accident. It starts with introducing yourself to another person. It starts with many decisions that come between when you meet that person and when you decide that you're going to go for broke and get buck wild with it. Listen, I haven't been able to see her or even hear her voice in 2 years. 2 years of not being able to see or talk to the person you love the most is too much of a punishment. This situation has destroyed me emotionally, mentally, and even physically. I ended up consuming an unhealthy amount of alcohol, weeks of barely eating, not sleeping. I was a zombie for months. I was just functioning on automatic. I wanted to DIE, but I couldn't let myself because I always held on to the hope that she would come back. My therapist says it's really hard when you can't get closure from a relationship because your mind can't process that the relationship is over. So you're always thinking that the person will knock on the door. Well, what about the person that he was having this intimacy with? Why is he then expecting his wife to come back? He decided to step out and risk it all for a person. So that person must have been worth it. So go back to that person. Here we go. And he's using words from the therapist to, you know how they say that certain men with certain personality disorders, when they go to therapists, they just learn the verbiage to use for manipulation. Like he was saying, he could make her fall in love again. He could make her. That's probably why she's not seeing him. And I guess he banked. Maybe things were getting a little boring for him, and he wanted to up the ante by bringing some drama into his relationship so that he could make her fall in love all over again. But she had something else in mind because she probably let him know how she felt about cheating, and he decided to do it anyway. All right. So my therapist says it's really hard when you can't get closure from a relationship because your mind can't process the relationship is over. So you're always thinking that the person will knock on the door and that you'll wake up from a sleep and they'll be there by your side. The divorce was finalized over a year ago. I'll be honest. I didn't make it easy. I didn't want to get divorced, and I still don't understand how we can be divorced. I asked for couples therapy, but she refused. I know from my lawyer that her lawyer advised her to go at least once or twice, but she refused. It took quite a while, but finally the divorce happened. I can't even describe the feeling. I felt and still feel like if a piece of me had been cut out. I know I hurt her. I know I failed, but I think we all deserve a second chance. When I couldn't take the pain anymore, I decided to start therapy. So he didn't automatically go to therapy. He wasn't interested in fixing himself before. He had to be in such a tremendous amount of pain that he sought out a therapist. Listen, when I couldn't take the pain anymore, I decided to start therapy. My therapist doesn't give me advice to get her back. He only focuses on me moving on with my life, encouraging me to meet new people and go out on dates. But I don't want to. At this point, I'm not even interested in sex anymore. A few days ago, something happened that completely shattered me. Listen. I was having a few beers with my friend at my house. Let's call him Nick. We were both pretty drunk. I started talking about my wife, and he said to me, "You should put more effort into getting over her. She's over you and is happy having a life away from you. You should do the same." Now, this is a man that he's most likely an avoidant, attachment style person. And he is now, because he was so interested in sex that he went and had sex with somebody else outside of their marriage, right? But now he's lamenting about this woman to everyone and anyone that will hear him. He probably wasn't really fully committed to her, obviously, but now he's using her to stop himself from committing to someone else. But listen to this part right here. You can't live in this self-pity all of your life. Something in his words hit me, but not in the way he expected. He spoke with a lot of confidence that my wife is over me and is happy now. How does he know that? At this point, I got angry and started pressuring him to talk. He refused. I pressured as hard as I could. I cried, I begged, manipulative tactics. I begged him to tell me. If he knew something, I needed to know something about her, until he finally told me. His wife has been in contact with my wife for the last year. He's calling his ex his wife still. Oh, this is about to end, so we're going to have to head into part 2, but stay tuned, buckle up. So this is part 2 of I cheated on my wife. She left without telling me anything. How do I get her back? If you haven't seen part 1, go watch that because he talks about how he cheated, what she did, the divorce, and then now we're getting into the part with where he's talking to a friend about how she's so much better off. So let's get into it. Something in his words hit me, but not in the way he expected. He spoke with a lot of confidence that my wife is over me and is happy now. How does he know that? At this point, I got angry and started pressuring him to talk. He refused. I pressed as hard as I could. I cried. I begged him to tell me if he knew something. Now, mind you, remember he said that he could get his wife to forgive him. And he has all of these tools and tactics at his disposal. Crying, begging, pleading, pressing. How many of you want to bet that that is what he had planned for his wife, or his ex-wife rather? So nonetheless, I begged him to tell me if he knew something. I needed to know something about her until he finally told me. His wife has been in contact with my wife for the last year. They were great friends, and I remember Sabrina, my friend's wife, being very sad about losing contact with my wife. The thing is that my wife went to live in Norway, got married to a guy, and is about 7 months pregnant. I felt like dying, literally like dying with this information. How could she do this to me? How could it be that while I was how could it be that while I was crying, getting drunk, missing her, and wanting to DIE every day, she was happily on the other side of the world getting married, effing and getting pregnant by another guy? How could it be that she didn't have a child with me in many, many years, to the point that I thought she was infertile, but she got pregnant by this new guy so easily? Where did this guy come from? I have no answers for absolutely anything, and I feel like I can't go on with my life without these answers. The only thing I can think of is that she had revenge sex for the first Norwegian guy she came across and got pregnant and decided to keep the baby. Maybe she got married because she wanted to stay in that country legally, and I guess, like in most countries, getting married is a good option for that. I don't know. These thoughts are killing me. I refuse to think that she is in love with him. I need to contact her. I need to talk to her. I need to know what's going on, because she acts like our 10-year history and 8-year marriage is nothing to her. Now, remember, this is the guy who cheated on her. He invited another woman into their marriage. Where did she come from? What were the feelings that you had for her that you would risk your 10-year relationship? Now, personally, by the way that this went down, I have a feeling that the guy wasn't all that great to her, that she probably was really looking for an exit, and he gave her the exit that she needed. But she didn't stray, not that we know of. But he opened the door for his relationship to be torn apart. He's claiming that he thought she was infertile. I wonder whether or not she was on some sort of birth control, something or another, so that she would not have his child. Whatever it is, the universe saw fit that they would not create another human being. But him in his mind, his delusion and his narcissism can't imagine that she would be happy, that she would be getting married out of love, and that she went and found herself a Viking to do all of that with. I'm reading this with you all for the first time because after I got into the point with the friend, I was like, yeah, you all need to hear this. So let's just jump back. I need advice on how to act. I feel the impulse of travel to where she is to look for her, but how could I do that? I don't know what city she's in. I don't know where she lives. I don't have a number to contact her. She closed her social media. Her family is small. They don't live in the same country as me, and all of them blocked me. I'm totally lost. I don't know what to do at this point. I still want her back. Yes, even pregnant. I feel like this is a nightmare and I need to wake up now. This woman is having another man's baby and he's thinking about what? You know what? This man is really dangerous because, leaving a man like this is one of the most dangerous things a woman can do, especially a man with these delusions. So imagine he travels over there to see her pregnant by another man. He's feeling all of these feelings, and men call us emotional, but we know what the real deal is. So he goes over there, he sees her with child and knows that she's happy without him. Because I guess he maybe have been looking for attention with this affair, and he didn't get what it is that he had bargained for. So now he ruined his relationship. He sees her happy. And how many of you want to bet that he would take her life to make sure that she does not move on without him, and then take his, of course, too? But the story is as old as time. Time and time again, we hear these stories of men not wanting to let women move on from them. You didn't treat her right when you had her, but then you want to stop her from being happy? She's pregnant. She's getting married. She's living in Norway. She doesn't want you. And people are saying that she's happy, but he's trying to talk about it's probably revenge, S3X. Let's continue. So now this is the part where he comes back and he adds all of this clarification, answering people's questions. And so we're going to read this together for the first time. I read almost all of the comments, and when I say almost all, I really mean almost all. It's hard to process all the crap that's being said about me. I feel like you guys forget that you are talking to a person and not an inanimate object. I thought I might find some empathy by sharing my story here. Just two people feeling empathy towards me, and their comments made me feel better. I'm not looking for validation or for anyone to say that what I did is okay. I know it's not okay, and I have to live with that every day. I will try to respond, but of course, I'll never be able to respond to all the comments over here. I guess none of you know what it's like to have broken a heart and not be able to get over a person. You don't decide who you love and don't decide when you get over someone. It will happen. It happened to me. Those who doubt my story, unfortunately, is real. I would love to be able to fake, but sadly, it's not. I have to live with this mess every day. Everyone assumes that she's happy now. I don't know. I mean, how do you know? I haven't seen her in 2 years. I can't have any idea if she's happier or not being pregnant. It doesn't necessarily mean happiness and being married either. We don't really know what the circumstances of this marriage. Maybe she got married because she got pregnant and felt alone in the country where she has no one, and she just holds on to the other guy. Of course I blame myself for this. This wouldn't have happened if I had been a better person and a better husband to her. But unfortunately, I can't change what I did wrong. The only thing I could do is try to make it up to her. But how do you make it up to someone who doesn't want to give you the chance to do so? Some people said that she doesn't owe me a second chance. That was hard to read, but I understand that maybe she doesn't have to. I never openly blamed her for the infertility issues. I said it was just a thought. We both went to the doctor, and in both cases, the test revealed that everything was fine. I never understood why we couldn't conceive. That was the universe right there. And the thought that she was infertile did cross my mind, and of course the idea I was too. But in most cases of infertility, it's due to the female factor. Maybe that's why I thought that, which is a lie. Half of the cases is because of the man, half of the cases is because of the woman. But patriarchy. Horrible things were said, like I would hurt my ex if she were here. I never physically hurt her, and I never will. I am not an abusive person. I am not a monster. I know it's hard to empathize with me. I know I screwed up. I know I hurt her way beyond what I can say, but I'm not a monster or a narcissist. oh my goodness, this recording is ending too. So we're going to go into part 3 because he comes back with a doggone update where he writes on another Reddit all of this other stuff that I want us to get into. So come back for part 3 on Tanya TK. So this is part 3 of I cheated on my wife. She left without telling me. How do I get her back? And this man is delusional. In part 2, it ended off with him talking about how he would never be violent towards her, that he's not abusive. He's emotionally abusive. Like, all of this is just too much. He's abusing himself emotionally, going around with this rigmarole. But there's something that just is nagging at me. He said he would never hurt her, but what is the point of you going to her while she's pregnant with another man's baby and marrying this other man in another country? She's found another life. There are just too many unknowns and variables that can just get out of control. He already seems highly emotional, crying, begging, pressing, pleading, all of this. You go to a person whom you haven't seen, and there's just too many unpredictable things that can happen. Why even go there? Like, this man is out of his mind. So let's go into the next part of what he's saying. Some people said that I never loved her, otherwise I wouldn't have cheated on her. This statement doesn't seem fair to me. And this guy is complete victim mode. He messed up, and it seems like he's in therapy looking for verbiage on how to get her back or soothe him or keep him in victimhood. He needs to move the F on. But nonetheless, this statement doesn't seem fair to me. You think you can kidnap the concept of love and tell another person that his real feelings, what his real feelings are? You think you are inside my head or heart? Only then would you know what I feel. You can't tell me I don't love her. There hasn't been a day since she left that I don't regret it. No one can tell me this isn't love. It's something, but this isn't love. This whole thing, this obsession, this beating yourself, like, if you loved her, let her go. Let her live happily. He's since deleted all of his posts, but the person who reposted this posted some other stuff that he came and said after, so I'm going to try to push through this. Otherwise, this is going to be a 4 or 5 part series. Lastly, humans are more complex than most people here think. Just because I cheated on her doesn't mean I don't love her and that I don't have feelings. I call what I did a mistake because how else would I call it? I thought part of accepting blame is accepting that was my mistake. But everyone here take those words as if I'm trying to twist the situation, when that's not the case. You completely twisted my words. I know how much I hurt her. Maybe in my post, I'm feeling, I'm focusing on myself because I was never able to explain myself to her. Since then, for me, it's been one attempt after another to put together a story in my head that doesn't make sense. I lost everything from one moment to the next. I simply tried to be open with my feelings, but it doesn't seem to work here. Not for me, at least. I know the damage I did to her. This woman left her life, the country she emigrated to, her friends, even her job. No one does that for a breakup unless you're going through some level of absolute pain. So now he's imagining the pain that she's going through and trying to be like, oh, well, I caused her this, so I can fix this for her. Unless you're going to, maybe she was relieved. Maybe when she got out of this relationship, she was like, whew, this unstable man. Thank goodness he did what he did, because I've been looking for a reason to get out. This man doesn't sound like a nice person. He sounds really immature. He sounds like he's it doesn't sound like he is taking responsibility. It sounds like he is skirting. Like, I know what I did was wrong, so now let me put my life back together with the consequences of my actions. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, I know how much I hurt her. That doesn't seem to work here. Not for me, at least. You see how he's talking, right? Not for me, at least. It works for other people, but you all aren't feeling sorry for me. All right. Her friends, even her job, no one does it for a breakup unless you're going through the level of absolute pain. I understand that I can see and feel the pain I put her through, and that makes me feel even more guilty. Honestly, I'm going to respond. I'm going to respond to some comments below and then log off of Reddit for a couple of days until I feel in a better place. Commenter, I want to know who you cheated on her with. That's pretty important information. It was a random woman that I used to go to the same gym. Nothing important. I didn't mean anything. Not even for a second. I was just being an idiot. You don't seem to have any remorse for cheating. Just mentioned she somehow found out, so you were not planning on telling her. It's been 2 years. You need to accept responsibility for your actions and let go. She's never coming back. There's billions of people out here. Just heal and improve yourself with therapy, and I'm sure you'll get a second chance with someone else. You're only 35. I do feel remorse for cheating. I'm a big mess right now. But I do feel remorse. And you see, this is the thing. That commenter makes a great point. He's not sorry for cheating. He's sorry she found out. He wished that he could have. And even if she did find out, he's sorry she left. He's not working on what's going on inside of him that made him cheat in the first place. The deficiencies of character, the broken moral code, the fact that he had a good thing, and also no relationship is perfect. The fact that he is now trying to posit it as if this was the be-all, end-all perfect relationship when he needs to admit that he wasn't the best husband to her. And that's part of the reason that he cheated and thought that it would be a-okay. Next, you may still be in love. She is not, at least not with you. So love just fade away, just like this. At the end of the day, this sometimes makes me feel like if I'm actually more loyal to her, to our relationship, meaning she left me, remarried, got pregnant, looks like if she completely forgot about me, and I'm here sitting crying while I drink some wine and respond to some strangers on Reddit about our relationship. I still love her, but for her it was so easy to get over me. There's some people like me, I'm disgusted by cheating. I'm disgusted by the thought of my partner with someone else. I personally am not down with that, and she may be one of those type of people too. There are plenty of people out there. There's so many men who think that women should be the ones to take you back, but if the shoe was on the other foot and she cheated, she would be garbage and trash to him. So yes, some people can get thrown away after cheating, and men expect for it to be women who get thrown away and not them. If only half the people on Reddit had the self-respect your ex-wife has. I don't blame her. I understand the pain I caused her, but I also think, and then the delusion of him talking about he's more loyal to suffering, but not more loyal to the relationship. And suffering doesn't do anybody any damn good. Anyway, I don't blame her. I understand the pain I caused her, but I also think that there are many couples who go through this and move on, especially when it was just one time. I never had a side relationship for months. Yeah, not yet. I mean, come on. She found out because he said she found some messages on his phone. So then this was a side relationship for months. This was somebody who went to your gym. You had this side relationship for however long was the duration. Like, this man is delusional. He needs to get it together. I never had a side relationship for months. I didn't cheat on her with multiple women. I didn't get another woman pregnant. I didn't cheat on her with her friend. Cheating is wrong. But you are really going to put me on the same level as a guy who cheated on his wife for years, or who cheated on his wife with her sister? It's not an excuse, but I'm asking for some coherency here. This man is crazy. Update. Some post 2 days later. All right. So we're going to get into the post that he came back with and wrote. So I'm going to start a new video. So that's going to be part 4. But what are your thoughts on all of this? For those of you who are just coming across me in my video, I'm Tanya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist. I hope you learn how to love yourselves and one another. This ex-wife, the level of restraint, boundaries, self-love that it took for her to say, well, you know what? This relationship was violated. I'm going to protect my peace. I'm going to move. I'm going to cut all of this off. No back and forth. No, none of that. I mean what I say what I mean. And then she moved on and then found her. Okay, so this is part 4 and hopefully the final part, because this is the gift that keeps on giving. But even after a while, some gifts can start to feel a little draining. Like, this guy is just not getting it. And I'm glad he's having a chance to vent. However, it seems as if he was expecting something a little bit different than what it is that he's actually getting. For those of you, if you haven't seen the first 3 parts, it starts out with the guy talking, oh, you know what? A man cheated on his wife. She left him. And this is his downward spiral on the internet, where now in part 4, he has come back to the internet a few days later to either update this post or create a new post. These days have been very strange at times. I feel numb and at other times desperate. A lot of things have happened. I want to start by answering something, and then I will update. Some people ask why Norway. I don't know exactly, but she is a polyglot. She speaks 6 languages. Many of these languages are connected to the cultures that she always liked. Norwegian is one of them. She has always been interested in Norwegian culture. She has been there before, but she is also interested in other cultures and speaks other languages. So for me, that was never an indicator that she might have gone to this country. So he was with an intelligent woman who could speak all these languages, and he dropped the bag on this. He messed up. He fumbled. Regarding the update, just too much dust here. The first thing I will say is that the post reached some people in my circle. Sabrina's sister's on Reddit. She knows the story and realized it was me. She told Sabrina. Sabrina is angry at Nick for revealing information. Nick is angry at me for posting on Reddit. And because he says I pressured him to talk, I am angry at both of them for being 2 a-holes who watched me suffer for 2 years and decided not to help me. They didn't care about my marriage. Why should I care about their marriage? This man is delusional. You didn't care about your marriage, sir. If you cared about your marriage, you would have honored your damn vows. Oh my God, this guy, something is not right with him. I'm angry at both of them for being 2 a-holes who watched me suffer for 2 years. But what about his wife? So you were suffering because of your actions. They protected her. So they're a-holes for protecting a person that needed protection from a person who was spiraling? Please. They didn't care about my marriage. Why should I care about their marriage? Sabrina could have given me my ex-wife's phone number a long time ago, but she decided to prioritize her friendship with my ex instead of helping 2 friends mend their marriage. Meanwhile, no one cared about my feelings. I'm done with them at this point. Yo, this dude, I need your comments below, because something is not right with him. She was supposed to violate your ex-wife's trust and give you her phone number because you say that you were suffering from the actions that you did? No. Ugh. Regarding to my ex-wife, I've been thinking a lot. She can't just despair. I convinced myself that if I searched hard enough, I could find something related to her. I followed some of her relatives from a fake Instagram. Yo, this dude is nuts. You see what I'm saying? Too many variables. I followed some of her relatives from a fake Instagram account, but I never found anything related to her. I searched a lot, really a lot, and I found a name that I had seen before, but that hadn't caught my attention until then. I thought it was the name of a lady that's typical in the United States. or my wife's country. She is not American, and a very strange last name. I went to her Instagram profile and she had no pictures or anything, just a small profile picture that you can barely see. I decided to look her up on Facebook and found the same lady with the same profile picture, only her Facebook profile is quite open. She is indeed a lady from Norway. I checked everything. This man, he needs to leave her alone. Like, I gotta see where this goes, though. Lady with the same profile picture, only her Facebook profile is quite open, and she is indeed a lady from Norway. I checked everything I could on this profile. I was convinced that it had something to do with my wife. How else would a relative of hers and this woman be friends? I saw a lot of pictures, people, plants, mountains, gardens, lakes, flowers, typical things that an older lady posts, until I came across a picture where my ex was dressed as a bride hugging a guy. I had to translate the text. The lady was congratulating her son on his wedding. There were a few more pictures, not many. There were even some members of my ex's family in the wedding pictures. The dates of the pictures were from a year ago. So she got married a year after, as soon as the divorce went through, a year ago she married this guy. I don't understand. How could it happen so fast? When did she meet him? I honestly thought she got married after she got pregnant, not before. This baffles me even more. After that, I found another picture. It was a group picture and she was far away, but of course I recognized her. The same guy was with his hands on her shoulders, hugging her. This picture was from February 2023, to be clear. She left in May 2022. How is she with someone February 2023? Only 9 months and she's already in a stable enough relationship that she introduced him to her family? What the hell is going on here? So now he done found his ex's husband's mother. And I can only imagine the effery that is about to take place. But let's get back into it. I feel like I have even more questions in my head now. I know I shouldn't be upset, but I am. I know I lost her because I was an idiot, but it's hard to get this feeling out of my head right now. Anyway, for those who had imagined this fantasy that my ex is with some kind of Norwegian Chris Hemsworth, let me tell you, it's not like that. This guy is too tall, too blonde, too pale, hair too long, and kind of chunky, to be honest. He looks more like the old cartoon of Vikings and is definitely not a Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth is the guy who played Thor. So now he's trying to, so that she is with a man she would rather be with a man in Norway who's too tall, too chunky, too pale than with you. What is it that he's not getting? Vikings definitely not Chris. I managed to find his FB profile, but he has almost nothing there. His profile says he's an engineer who wears metal band t-shirts at 38. I don't know how to take this because I'm an engineer myself, just in a different field. Why would she look for a man with the same profession as me? My wife, he's still calling her his wife. My wife has always liked heavy metal, which I always found nasty, but I never complained. After all, your partner doesn't have to have the same musical taste as you. I mention this because maybe that's the way they connected. She used to connect easily with people who like the same type of music. I don't know, but I honestly look at it and I think, where did she get this guy from? I meant he can definitely do better than this. The pregnancy thing still, wait. I meant he can definitely do better than this? So he's insulting her now? The pregnancy thing still messes with my head. I try not to think about it. I can't understand. I'm not infertile like the comments suggest. I've been to the doctor and I know I'm not, but God, it kills me to think that she's going to have another man's child. I don't get it. I feel like this is beyond anything I could have ever imagined. And no, I'm not going to Norway. I'm not going to try to contact her. I still want to see her and talk to her, but I obviously can't force her to do that. I have too much to deal with right now and too much to talk about in therapy. If by any chance this post reaches my ex, I want you to know that I still love you. You know where to contact me. If by any chance this post reaches the new dude, I want you to know that the only reason you have a chance with this woman is because a big idiot halfway across the world completely ruined it. You most probably met a woman who was probably very broken from her divorce. You took advantage of her situation and dropped her with a baby. You don't know how to play fair. Sabrina and Nick, F you! Oh my God. Take this as a masterclass. Leave and don't ever look back. The right person for you is going to honor you. Your happiness may be out there. While you still back there trying to wrestle with this, you're missing out on what's